Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Well, once again I'm back out here spot spraying. The part of this field right here, these rows are actually, no, a little over 3/4 of a mile long. And so I've just come down the outside edge right over there. That's actually a CRP strip along a drainage ditch. And so I've just taken the first 90-foot strip along that CRP, just like I always do with spot spraying. I do the entire perimeter and then go through the field. And this field here is, in fact, it's actually just like the last field of spraying that I did. I had to take and I'm going to have to almost run the entire field with the sprayer. There we go, that might help you be able to see better. I'm going to have to take and run the entire field with the sprayer because not too sure how well you can see that. But going right down across here, it's like a sand ridge, kind of running right down through the middle of the field. And it kind of runs on a southwest northeast angle, which means I got to run the entire field to get all that sand ridge. But so far through here though, as you can see, I'm not spraying because the beans have gotten up, they've gotten canopied over, and it's got the, and so we're looking pretty good. Out here in this field is where I sure would like to have a 120-foot wide sprayer. But hey, this 90-foot self-propelled is sure a whole lot better than what we used to have. We used to have a 45-foot pull type, and I would pull that behind our 7045 Alice Chalmers tractor. So far though, the beans aren't looking too bad. That last between inch and 1.3 inches of rain that we got definitely helped. So right here's the thinner spot because we're coming right back up into some sandier ground. And so I just kicked the booms back on and we're spraying away right now. So far I like this head mount for my camera. Works pretty good. Although I will say, it don't take long of wearing this thing to almost give me a headache. Up there we went down. Right through there is kind of like a little, it's like a little area that over the years the wind has kind of eroded like a little hole in the sand. And that's one of the reasons why here, oh wow, this has been several years ago now, we started running this field no-till. And so I got this field here. This field of beans is 120 acres. And back at the other end, in fact where I started, where the video started, back behind the sprayer, there's a ditch back there also. And on the other side of that ditch is a 40-acre field. And this field and that field are both no-till. And the reason why is because this is muck ground. Okay, get lined up with my GPS. There we go. And so with it being muck, we try not to work it because it gets all real loose and real fluffy, especially when it gets dry. And so right here, as you can see on the yellow stripe on the GPS, I have just kicked on. And I'm actually going to run that because we're right here, we're running down along beside this sand ridge, and so I'm going to run this down here so far, then shut back off. Like I said before, that's the nice thing with that GPS. Hopefully you can see it right there. When I turn the booms on, it paints that yellow strip everywhere I've been, and then when I shut the booms back off, it turns that paint strip off. And so that does make it nice. So right here, like I say, we're coming up on good old yellow sand. Then you can kind of see, hopefully on camera, how that hill ridge kind of runs out across there at an angle. Then it kind of turns back west and goes heading on west. And so it kind of zigzags back and forth. That's why I got to drive the entire field spotting the sand. Okay, now right here we're coming back down off the sand. In fact, actually what I start doing, because right through here, my right hand side is down off the sand. My left hand part of the boom is still up there. So I got that section over there turned on. The section between the sprayer wheels and to my right, I have turned off with these rocker switches. I don't know how well you can see that on camera. Right here, I just turned the section on between my wheels. Right there, I just kicked on the inside section of boom. And so, like I say, turning individual sections on, it actually leaves the GPS part on. That part only turns off after I hit the master control switch, like right now, on the floor, because I don't need any at all. I'll see if I can pivot the camera down as I'm driving through the field. Yeah, you got these individual rocker switches right here that turns on and off different sections of boom. So hopefully you can see that. And like I say, right on up here, as we come on up to the end row, there's that ditch that I was talking about there on the north side. It goes down here. You see the corner of the field. The ditch turns on that side over there. The ditch runs east and west. Up here it turns and goes south. And then right on up here, across the ditch, is at 40 acres. And that's the last no-till field of beans that we have. And I'll be spraying that field also. And like I say, we got the CRP strip running along beside the edge of the ditch. And like I say, right over there we got the beans across the ditch. Okay, now this part right down through here, I've come back up onto the sand ridge. So I'm going to go ahead and kick on. And like I say, that'll get this section of high ground right down through here. You can see in this field here different areas where I actually came out here with chemical to kill out a lot of the volunteer corn. Now right up here on top of the sand, I actually shut the, oh, there's that big groundhog hole I hit last time. Oh boy, I got slowed down for it right there. But yeah, you can see where we're getting the grass and that kind of stuff are growing. So that's that's one of the main things I'm going after. Plus mare's tail. The reason why I shut the sprayer off up here on top of the sand hill for the volunteer corn, and I sprayed that here probably about a week to a week and a half ago, was because there wasn't much up here, and so it wasn't worth going after. But in the low ground, like all over that area and all over in that area, last fall we had a lot of corn go down out through here. Mainly just this field, not really anywhere else, but just this field. And we weren't the only ones. A lot of neighbors in this whole area had corn go down. And a lot of that can be from dry weather. And so you got a whole lot of different factors, that kind of stuff. Because I'm not sure why, but in this muck ground, you can get when it gets dry in the summertime, hot and dry, you don't have a lot of rain. Especially with the corn, the beans, they just don't get very tall. But with the corn in this muck ground, it'll produce like a weak, brittle stalk. And even the corn cob will be brittle. And it's really hard to separate the cob out for like settings in the combine, trying to get all those little bits of cob out of the corn. Because the corn cob and even the corn stalks just literally, they just want to shatter and bust up and literally go to a million pieces. Right here I'm coming back down off that sand hill, so I've shut down sections of the sprayer. So I got my left hand section on, and right between the sprayer wheels and my right hand section is turned off. Alrighty, we came back down off the high ground. So far we're not looking too bad. But yeah, my dad said that my grandpa used to say the same thing about this type of soil. About how it would produce like a weak brittle stalk and a weak brittle corn cob. Okay, now we're coming up here to the end. In fact, you can actually kind of see that, hopefully on camera, how we're coming up on some high ground. Got grass growing. I've kicked on. I just kicked right back off. And if you can kind of see that right there on my monitor, on the control monitor for the sprayer itself, I've got about 90 gallons of chemical left, and so I can't do a lot more, but like I say, out here in the low ground, the beans have really gotten a hold and they're growing pretty good. And like I say, you can see the volunteer corn out here. For no worse than what that is, we don't even spray it. But on down here toward the west end, because basically it was the west half of these long rows is where the corn really went down on us last fall. And so the volunteer corn was really thick, and so that's why I came out here and sprayed for it. When it's that thick, it makes it worth going after. Right there's a tile inlet. But when it's not too bad at all, it's not even worth wasting the money on the chemical. Forget it. But yeah, that field over there, this field of soybeans here, it kind of lays in an L shape. It comes up and then it also goes south. In fact, I saw a spot right there. I think it was actually from water damage. I want to take and back up and run my left-hand section of boom. Shut the rest of the sprayer off and run the left-hand section of boom over top of that. There we go. But yeah, like I say, this bean field here is 120 acres. And that field of corn over there, that's also 120 acres. So far, it's not looking bad also. In fact, kind of right out there in the middle, kind of got to look around the mirrors right there. But yeah, out there in the middle, that part of the field, compared to the rest of the field of corn, it was planted about a week and a half later, if I remember right. Almost 2 weeks later, because the middle part of the field was still wet. And so we started planting corn on the west side and came over till it got wet. Then we went over on the east side and came back across till it got wet. And the section right there in the center got planted about a week and a half later. And in fact, looks like some of it is just now tasseling. But for the most part, though, it don't look too bad. Okay, as you can see right there, that part of the boom is still out up over top of that sand ridge. And so, like I say, you just kind of got to play with it as you go across here. That's why it's called spot spraying. Okay, and right there I actually just shut the inside section of boom off, because the booms are actually divided into two sections, and so I can shut the inside section off and have just the outside section on. And so that does make it nice. Well, hey, tell you what, I'm going to call that an end to this video. So take care. We'll see you next time.